Hey guys, how are you? Welcome into a Tuesday morning edition of the Daily Juice podcast with me, Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me on Twitter at SportsTalkMatt. Follow Fantasy Pros on Twitter, but BettingPros on Twitter too, at BettingPros. We're here thanks to BetMGM and the offer $10 to win $150 is always above me on YouTube for the video. It's a promo code JUICE150 at BetMGM.com or BetMGM on the app for you guys to get involved with those great folks. And a 2-0 night last night. Not bad. Not going to scoff at it. Ben Roethlisberger goes off in really amazing fashion. We get the pick right at -110. It closed at -3 for the Steelers. It was kind of a crazy night. So that game was initially a Browns game being favored at +3.5. I had bet that on Friday. I then teased it on Sunday. Teased it up to 9.5 from 3.5 after taking it at 3.5. So I had 3.5, I had 9.5, and I had money line all going. So all three of those hit for me. And then the under comes in officially. So it's a 2-0 day officially. It's a 4-0 day for me. Not going to be angry at that by any means as the hot streak continues after kind of a dip down on Sunday. We come back with a nice 4-0 day, 2-0 day officially for me on that. So that was fun. Really cool to see Ben go out like that. And everyone's asking, is that it for Big Ben? Antonio Brown says no. I don't know. I mean, I still think that when somebody goes ahead and calls next year, when a big injury happens for some team, a championship caliber team gets their quarterback hurt, I still think that Ben's going to answer the phone, and I think he'll play. I do. I think Ben will seriously contemplate playing, and I think there's a good shot that Roethlisberger winds up playing one more game somewhere in some uniform. But, maybe not. All right, so we are really counting down the number of football games left. It's super depressing. I mean, that stinks, right? We're getting down to the nitty-gritty here of when will the football year be over. We're getting close, and here's where I'm going today. We got one bowl game. I'm not betting, although I should have bet the Magic. Magic +14, they lose by 4 to the Bulls. That was the right read, the right side. The Warriors game is currently going on right now. I'm not sure who the Warriors, what the score is for the Warriors game, but I had thought about betting the Heat. It was +11. I said it was 8.5 last night. It was 11 at one point. Came down to 10.5 before tip-off. But it was 11. I was like, man, Miami +11. You could have gotten that. Currently, it's Golden State by 10 with 6 to play in the fourth quarter. So that was right there. But we had it could be a 2-0 if the Heat closed strong. So it would be a 2-0 day in the NBA, which I did not bet. So I would be angry because it could have been a 6-0 day if I had bet what I wanted to bet, but I didn't do it. So I talked about it on the pod last night and talked about it on the internet show and talked about it in the Discord channel, but didn't take advantage of it, didn't bet it. So I'm not betting the NBA. College basketball is getting just destroyed by COVID. I don't know how anyone's betting college basketball right now. Games are getting canceled like crazy. So we have one final bowl game left, LSU and Kansas State. Number opened up around 3. It's now 7. Total's now 47, down from 48. Boy, this game's crazy. Here is where I am. Have you guys seen what's going on with LSU? So Ed Orgeron's gone. They have an interim head coach. They do not have a scholarship quarterback tonight. They have 39 scholarship players for the game. They've got their entire back seven's been decimated. Their 2 best run stoppers are not there. Their best running back is not there. They do have 2 decent wide receivers, but that's about it. And the quarterback is a walk-on. Against a K-State team who's getting their quarterback back in Skylar Thompson, who was 7-3 before he got hurt, and K-State with one of the better running offenses for the country. I don't know that you can put a number up high enough here for me when it comes to Kansas State. I thought about it. I looked deep into betting LSU +7. I was like, man, can LSU play? Can they just keep it close? Can they fight? How are they scoring? How is LSU going to score? You don't have, I know you could say like, Matt, a walk-on at LSU is better than some schools. Maybe, but K-State's going to be motivated. This is a Big 12 school up against an SEC school. And whenever you play an SEC school, don't tell me they're not going to be motivated. They're going to be motivated. Also, K-State hasn't won a bowl game in 4 years. So there's that angle. K-State wants to win this thing. Will there be many fans there? I don't know. It's the Texas Bowl. I'm guessing LSU fans who always like to go to games and party, they'll be there a little bit. K-State fans do travel fairly well, so maybe there'll be K-State fans in Houston for this game. But my goodness gracious, I don't know how LSU does it. I mean, it's just, I could be dead wrong. I might be walking into one here, but I don't know how in the world you put hard-earned money down to back LSU. I read the article in The Athletic where basically the beat writer, I think Brody Miller is his name, he goes through the entire roster of players who are not available for LSU. It's striking. I mean, it's absolutely stunning when you read the number of players who are not going to be available. 39 players are going to be available for this. They've got an interim head coach. Brad Davis is your interim head coach. Their two best defensive players in Neil Farrell and Damon Clark are both opting out for the NFL draft. Max Johnson, Miles Brennan, Garrett Newsmeyer, they're all not playing. They're all not playing. So you have a walk-on in Tavion Falk and Matt O'Dowd, plus a receiver that might be the quarterback for this team coming up. And yeah, it's funny because people were joking around that LSU, Jontre Kirkland was a LSU high school legend playing the 3A state title game. He's thrown for 7,500 passing yards and 3,000 rushing yards in his career, and he might be playing quarterback tonight. But he hasn't played since high school, and he's a receiver now, not a quarterback. Okay? I mean, yeah. This is a K-State team that's not good defensively, but I don't think it really matters. You don't have your number one rusher. You've got a couple of freshmen who are going to carry the rock here for LSU. The receivers are okay, but defensively, they're a mess. I mean, they're one of the best defensive teams in the SEC, but they're going to have a real big problem at cornerback, at safety, at linebacker, at defensive line. It's just an absolute mess, and Skylar Thompson's coming back. So, I mean, this is a motivated K-State team. Half a unit, I'm laying the 7 points. K-State -7 here. I don't want to over 7, but it's been rising. I'm getting a bad number. Okay, I'm betting a bad number. I'm telling you I'm betting a bad number. So if you want to fade this, go ahead. I'm betting into a bad number. I don't care because I don't think LSU is going to score. The other half a unit is team total. LSU, 20.5. We're betting under. -110. Team total, under 20.5 for LSU. I'm worried about the fact that K-State might score 35 to 40 points themselves. Like, I'm really concerned that you may say, Matt, why don't you bet the under? Well, if they score 17, if LSU scores 17 points and we get 34, it's a 34-17 final, the game's going over, okay? So I'm concerned about the over hitting. I think the under's the right side, but I'd rather look at it and say LSU's not going to score. They don't have the weapons. And so I'm going to go under 20.5 for LSU team total for a half a unit. So I'm laying the 7, and I'm going to take the under 20.5 on a team total perspective for LSU. That's the only thing I'm betting on Tuesday. And look, this is a funky week, okay? Because Wild Card Weekend is one of the biggest weekends of gambling, and we have a Saturday, Sunday, Monday, all right? So, like, that weekend is so exciting. This weekend's going to suck, all right? We know what this weekend's going to be. This weekend's going to be all player props, right? There's no Thursday night football. There's no Monday night, except for the national championship game is Monday, but there's no NFL on Monday. So we have Saturday, Sunday for games. By the way, I was going to look at that. I didn't bring that up yesterday on the podcast. I'll bring that up now for how many games are happening on Saturday for us here in Week 18. We have 2 games on Saturday and the full slate on Sunday. Okay, so KC at Denver is Saturday. Dallas at Philly is on Saturday. That's a 1:30 Pacific, 4:30 Eastern, 5:15 Pacific, 8:15 Eastern for those 2 games. And then we get into the full slate of games. Tennessee at Houston is a 1 o'clock Eastern time kick. Pittsburgh at Baltimore, also a 1 o'clock Eastern time kick. So those 2 teams are figuring what's going to happen here, who's going to get in. It matters for Tennessee with the 1 seed. If KC wins, Tennessee will know they will have to win, so that could be a game you want to bet there. New Orleans and Atlanta both are playing for a chance. If New Orleans wins, they can get into the postseason. You've got the Patriots trying to keep themselves in a good playoff spot. Los Angeles and Vegas playing now. So the Steelers are hoping that they can stay alive against Baltimore. They're going to have to win to get them. So if Indianapolis loses, Jacksonville, Indy at Jacksonville, Pittsburgh wins at Baltimore, Jacksonville beats Indianapolis, Pittsburgh is in the playoffs. Those two teams are playing at the same time. So just FYI on that. It's a big spread, but Indianapolis hasn't won at Jacksonville since 2014, in case you don't know that. They've lost like 5 games in a row to Jacksonville. So, okay, Colts, you're going to do it again? You're going to lose their way out and fall out of the playoffs? So Pittsburgh could still magically somehow, they won't play a home game, obviously, but magically potentially get their way into the postseason. So a lot of games happening this coming weekend, but then as long as, now that Pittsburgh won, Cleveland's eliminated, Pittsburgh's still alive. There was some funky, weird scenario, and there still is. The Patriots could still wind up with the 1 seed, if you can believe that. The Bills, Titans, and Chiefs all have to lose for the Patriots to get to the 1 seed, which would be the most ridiculous thing ever. Denver's not beating Kansas City. That would be a stunner of all stunners. The Bills, if they were going to go ahead and lose in their game to the Jets at home, would be like, excuse me? But, I mean, Buffalo wasn't looking great against the Falcons last week, and the Jets almost beat the Bucs. So, I mean, I guess some crazy things could happen there, but that's not happening. But just there are some weird scenarios still in play here that could wind up being wacko. But as long as everything goes according to form, Chargers at Vegas, that game Sunday night here in Vegas, is going to be huge. It's the biggest game in the history of Vegas for football, for a team based here. Raiders played basically meaningless games last year. This is a playoff game. If they win, they play an actual playoff game. But Raiders are at home plus the 3. We're going to watch that game, okay, and watch that line. If that line at all ticks above 3, I will jump on the Raiders. I will be on the Raiders at home catching 3 points. If I get 3.5, it's what I want. So we're going to watch that game for Sunday night. The books open the number a little higher than some people thought that the books were going to. But if that game does go Vegas plus 3.5, we'll take Vegas. If it goes down to 2.5, I'll have to think about it. But I think Vegas over 3 is the right number. I think that's a 3-point game, one way or the other, for the Chargers and the Raiders. Raiders played very well down the stretch. Rich Bisaccia has done an incredible job. It's an incredible job. On a couple other markets, the Belichick to win Coach of the Year is probably dead, so we're probably going to lose that, unfortunately. That was a free bet for me with BetMGM, so I'm not too angry. I'm not losing any money on that. I'm going to lose it on the record, but it's basically going to come down to, I think, Zach Taylor or Matt LaFleur, which is kind of crazy. And the Jamar Chase steam, if you haven't bet Mac Jones to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year, I don't know. I mean, at plus 175, it's not a bad idea to take the Mac Jones right now if you haven't. I haven't come around to it. I might even make it official. I don't know yet, because I mean, this is what have you done for me lately. If you really look at the body of work for Jamar Chase has had basically 4 monster games, and 2 of them are against the Ravens. Yes, he lit up the Chiefs last week. Okay, insane. I give it. But like the body of work, Mac Jones' completion percentage, his touchdown to interception ratio, his team's record, it's a quarterback league, man. It's a quarterback league, not a receiver league. It's a quarterback league. So like if Jamar Chase doesn't set things on fire for Cincy against Cleveland, like if he goes back to just his typical Jamar Chase type numbers, he's had 2 incredible games. I'm not debating that point. He's been absolutely outstanding for the last 2 games. But I'm talking about just where he has been overall all season. His numbers are really up and down. The 13 touchdowns is incredible. I'm not debating that point. But like if you look at the entire season for Jamar Chase, and people argue with me all the time on this, but like the first game of the year, where he was great, 101 yards receiving and 1 touchdown. Okay, that's tremendous. Then he had 2 catches for 4 yards, 1 touchdown, but 2 catches for 4 yards. Then he had 4 catches for 5. Oh, sorry, no, excuse me. No, he had 4 catches for 4 catches. 2 catches and 4 targets for 54 yards and 1 touchdown. Then he had 4 catches for 65 yards and 2 touchdowns. But as you go into the rest of the year, he was great until you got till Halloween. And after Halloween, Ja'Marr Chase kind of disappeared. He had 6 catches for 49 yards, 3 catches for 32 yards and a touchdown, 3 catches for 39 yards, no touchdowns, 5 catches for 52 yards, no touchdowns, 5 catches for 77 yards and 2 touchdowns, then 1 catch for 3 yards and no touchdowns. So he basically disappeared for the entire month of November and most of December. And then against the Ravens, 7 catches, $125. And then against the Chiefs, 11 catches, 266, and 3 touchdowns. He erupted for that game. But against Baltimore, 8 catches, 201 yards, and 1 touchdown. Against the Ravens, 15 catches for 226 yards and 1 touchdown. He crushed that team. Crushed the Chiefs as well. Crushed the Niners as well. But other than that, impressive. Absolutely impressive. But I think everybody is so in love right now with Ja'Marr Chase after what he just did that they aren't seeing the full body work. On a strict value bet, I think Mac Jones to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year should be considered. Ja'Marr Chase should not be minus 220, okay? He should not. And he jumped over Mac Jones, who was minus 500 last week, in a week where Mac Jones threw for 227 yards, completed 73% of his passes and 3 touchdowns. Now, it's against Jacksonville, but on the same day that Mac Jones puts up those numbers as a quarterback, all of a sudden we're talking about Ja'Marr Chase is going to run away with the Offensive Rookie of the Year. It's a really interesting debate. It really, really is. It's wild to me. Mac Jones on the year, 3,500 yards passing, 67.6% completion, which is crazy, 7.2 yards per pass play completed, quarterback rating of 92.5, 21 touchdowns to 15 interceptions. It's just slow and steady, but he's on a team right now that's got double-digit wins and should win at Miami to have 11 wins. Patriots are going to have 11 wins on the year. I know Ja'Marr Chase is on a team that won the North. I'll give you that. I understand that, but that line move, I don't get that line move. That's a stunner to me in terms of where we are with that Offensive Rookie of the Year market. It's crazy. So, all right, we're taking Kansas State minus 7 against LSU, half a unit. Team total under 20.5 for LSU for a half a unit. My name is Matt Perrault. Follow me on Twitter @SportsTalkMatt. Each and every morning, it's the Daily Juice Podcast. Always being brought to you by BetMGM.